1462, Mehmed II marched 90,000 elite Ottoman soldiers toward Wallachia, expecting an easy, absolute victory. Instead, the conqueror of Constantinople witnessed a forest of 20,000 impaled bodies and immediately turned back. This unprecedented retreat without military defeat forces us to uncover the Vlad the Impaler real history today. The man known as Dracula ruled 3 times, totaling barely 9 years, yet terrified 2 massive empires. Why was his real fortress, Poenari, forgotten, while a fictional vampire myth swallowed his entire historical legacy? The true story of Vlad III is far darker, complex, and fascinating than any Gothic fiction. Born in 1431, Vlad inherited a bleeding Wallachia trapped between the expanding Ottoman and Hungarian empires. During his life, he was never called the Impaler. Documents only named him Dracula, son of the dragon. The infamous nickname Tepes first appeared in official records only in 1508, decades after death. His first bloody reign in 1448 lasted barely 2 months, a fleeting moment in a turbulent era. Vlad fought bravely to defend Christian Europe from invasion, yet his Christian allies kept him imprisoned for years. He spent 12 years locked away by Hungarian King Matthias Corvinus, a political hostage, not a criminal. During this prolonged captivity, he strangely married a relative of his royal jailer, securing his political survival. Meanwhile, Saxon merchants from Brasov and Sibiu funded a massive, organized propaganda campaign against the imprisoned ruler. This was the first recorded political smear campaign utilizing Gutenberg's revolutionary printing press to destroy a reputation. Over 13 editions of German pamphlets circulated widely, rapidly cementing a deeply exaggerated, bloodthirsty image across Europe. Meanwhile, the Russian tale of Dracula was read at Ivan III's court as profound political wisdom. The exact same man depicted as a demonic monster in Western prints remained a pragmatic Eastern statesman. Centuries later, author Bram Stoker originally planned to name his iconic fictional vampire simply Count Wampir instead. Author Stoker stumbled upon the historical name Dracula by pure accident within William Wilkinson's obscure 1820 book. In Stoker's working notes housed in Philadelphia, the actual historical figure occupies barely 1 single written page. According to researcher Elizabeth Miller, the direct connection between Stoker's vampire and Vlad remains at best superficial. Stoker never linked the historical Wallachian ruler to vampires. This widespread modern myth actually began in 1972. Authors Floresco and McNally forged this direct connection, misleading hundreds of thousands of tourists visiting Bran Castle. The famous fortress has absolutely no proven historical ties to Vlad, despite generating massive annual tourism profits. Meanwhile, the real mountain fortress of Poenari was entirely destroyed by a massive landslide in 1888. The historical ruler was effectively buried twice, physically by the collapsing mountain, historically by profitable modern fiction. In the year 2023, Italian scientists from Salerno University extracted proteins from 3 authentic historical letters. Published in Analytical Chemistry and PLOS 1, the meticulous study analyzed biological markers left upon the ancient paper. They discovered clear traces of tear fluid containing rare peptides associated with a severe inflammatory vascular disease. This medical condition, known as haemolacria, meant that the formidable Wallachian prince physically cried tears of blood. Could the persistent myth of a bloodthirsty monster have been inspired by this terrifying, visible physical ailment? Yet the ultimate unresolved mystery of his dark existence remains his completely unknown final resting place today. In the year 1931, archaeologists excavated Snagov's altar, but the heavily guarded stone tomb revealed something impossible. Instead of the legendary Wallachian ruler, investigators found only horse bones and unidentifiable fragmented human remains inside. If his body isn't in Snagov, Where exactly is the Vlad the Impaler real history physically buried? Historical records confirm his severed head was preserved in honey and sent directly to Mehmed II. The headless corpse was supposedly buried by loyal monks in secrecy, effectively erasing his physical existence forever. This profound physical fragmentation mirrors how Western propaganda and modern literature tore apart his complex political identity. To uncover the genuine historical truth, we must return to the terrifying night attack of 1462. Vastly outnumbered, Vlad executed a daring, suicidal night raid directly on Sultan Mehmed's personal royal encampment. Documents confirm roughly 7,000 to 10,000 Wallachian soldiers attacked an overwhelming force of 90,000 Ottomans. The daring assassination attempt ultimately failed to kill Mehmed, but it successfully triggered absolute panic throughout camp. Following this terrifying assault, the Ottoman army marched forward, only to encounter the infamous Forest of Stakes. Of all this bloody history, only one widely recognized original document signed by Vlad remains preserved today. Written on February 11th, 1462, this priceless historical artifact isn't a confession of sadistic cruelty or madness. Instead, it is a desperate, pragmatic plea for military assistance from an isolated statesman facing absolute annihilation. Ultimately, Vlad III lost his precarious throne, his personal freedom, and finally his life on the battlefield. The profound tragedy is how easily a complex, struggling human being was entirely overwritten by profitable Gothic horror. The true historical monster wasn't born in a dark Carpathian mountains. It was manufactured on a German printing press. Ultimately, history leaves us not with the dark ashes of a mythical vampire, but a man's tears. If his physical bones belong to horses and his monstrous legend originated from a simple Victorian mistake, then exactly whose dark, complex memory are we rigorously protecting today inside the walls of Bran Castle? Are we remembering a desperate Wallachian tyrant or merely worshipping a profitable phantom created by his enemies? The deeply buried truth remains entirely silent, hidden beneath centuries of thick dust and endless commercial manipulation. The brave warrior who fought fiercely to defend his homeland became nothing more than a profitable ghost story. Perhaps the ultimate tragedy isn't what happened during his brutal life, but what we chose to remember. History is rarely what it seems on the surface. There are always deeper secrets waiting patiently inside. If you value rigorous historical investigations over cheap modern mythology, join us by subscribing to the channel. Click the next video on your screen to uncover another historical deception. The investigation never truly ends.